Hi, welcome back. Charlene here, and today we're going to talk about, do you ever miss the younger version of yourself? I'm sure that at some point we all thought about this, especially if we are now in a family and we have kids and we're married or in a relationship and much older. When we reflect back on our younger version, we have dreams, we have things that, we wanted to accomplish in our lives. And sometimes when we are much older and we do reflection in our lives after getting married or having a spouse, sometimes you can feel like there's a lot of regrets tied to what transpired in your life, right? So here at one point we're young and we're vibrant and we're in college or we're living life in our early 20s, late teens, and we have all these dreams and we have this taste of new freedom. And then life happens and you may fall in love or you may get into a relationship and then we end up having children. And sometimes our dreams were to go to college and it did not work out, or our dream was to get married or have a certain lifestyle and it did not happen, or have children by a certain age and it came at a younger age. And so all of these things can definitely help. It can definitely put us in a space where it's kind of like, oh my God, when I think of my life, I have nothing but regrets. And so I'm here to challenge you to think of it differently. Yes, we start off and we have our dreams and we have our goals and we have this picture in our head of the younger version of ourselves, what exactly our life should be like, or what we would want our life to be like. And then life starts lifing and none of that happened. Our identity as we know it at the beginning, where we were going to live a life of abundance and freedom and go to school or get a job that we want, that identity was shifted now into having a family, into having a job that we did not plan on having, or ending up in a marriage or in a relationship we did not intend to be in. And as a result, it kind of derailed you. And then time goes by and then you lose that concept of time. And before you know it, it's 10, 15, 20 years later. And we sit down and we're like, oh my God, like what happened? What happened? What poor decisions did I make or allowed to happen to me? These are questions, let's be real. These are questions that we ask ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that, yes, we should be taking responsibility for our actions and how life happens. But at the same time, life isn't always etched out the way we want it to be. How many of you have planned your life to go a certain way and it never went the same way? Right here. I'm a perfect example, right? Um, do I have regrets about how the path of my life took? To be honest with you, yes and no. The part of me that's healed says that I'm okay with it. Just being transparent. And the part of me that's not healed yet, because I'm in therapy, I'm under construction. The part of me that says no is not fully healed yet. And I've accepted that. And I know in time I will heal and I will look back and I will be able to comfortably say with a smile and with open heart that I am okay with what I experience because of decisions that I've made or I've allowed or tolerated. Are you willing to get to that point? So I encourage you to, when you look at the younger version of yourself, you can still be that younger version of yourself. It is never too late to start anything in your life. A lot of us, we have dreams and we go into a family and have children. And sometimes we feel, well, if we have, this is just it. This is life. We should be content. And I'm here to tell you, you should have hobbies and you should have dreams. And whether you have a family or not, because you are still an individual, you still have feelings, you still need to fill your cup, you still have a lot of responsibilities as a mom, as a special needs mom, as a spouse. And in society alone, there's so many responsibilities that's put on women. Know that it's okay to sometimes step out and say, this is what you want for yourself. It is not being selfish. You're not abandoning your family. You're not abandoning your kids. You're just asking for that few moments for yourself just so you can feel alive again. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So when you think of your younger version, also remember that you can create a future version of yourself. You can sit down and you can literally imagine, what does this future version of yourself look like? Where are you? How do you feel? How are you dressed? What age are you? What's your environment? How are you feeling? How is your overall health? How is your mindset? How is your mood? Who are you with? And once you get to the point where you can visualize this version of yourself, the future version of yourself, you're going to start craving that person. You're going to start doing things to have that future version of yourself. And so I encourage you, yes, sit back and think about the younger version of yourself, the older version of yourself. But know that you should not live with regrets if you had dreams then that you did not accomplish. You should not have that tied onto you where you're feeling down and you're walking through life and you're feeling or living in regret. Know that you have the ability to actually do self-work on yourself, self-improvement, and you can create a better version of yourself. You just have to have that burning desire to do it. This is not something that, just listening to my video or someone telling it to you. Yes, this is giving you sprinkles and probably, laying a foundation for you because you probably never even thought about it. You probably felt guilty just for thinking about wanting to be or do something different or better for yourself. And so I'm here to tell you and to encourage you and to challenge you to think about your future version. Work on not having regrets, on not fulfilling your dreams for the past, or forgive yourself for the younger version of any mistakes or things or life that did not go the way you had planned. At the end of the day, we have a certain amount of control on how our life plays out. There's always room and there's always time for improvement. But I have this topic in this conversation because I challenge you not to wait another 5 years to make these changes, because I would have been 5 years older than where you are right now. And I believe you would probably experience more regrets then. And don't get me wrong, by being a better version of yourself, I'm not saying abandon your children, your family, your spouse. I encourage you actually to have this conversation openly with your spouse and with your family members and your friends, because sometimes when we become a better version of ourselves and we do things for ourselves, people tend to feel very insecure in our space, and they tend to sometimes don't know how to deal with it. And so if you're open about how, what your dreams are and what you want to do for your future, or things that you want to change in your life, or weeds that you want to remove from your life to improve yourself, I highly encourage you to discuss this with your children if they're able to understand. If they're older, your spouse, your immediate circle, people that will be impacted as a result of this. That way, they're not surprised when they see this different version of yourself. So I encourage you to not have regrets. I encourage you to forgive the younger version of yourself. And if you reflect on a younger version and you're in a stage in your life where you say, damn, I did it. Remember to give gratitude to the higher being, because we don't always do things for ourselves. We don't have that entire power, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I encourage you to challenge yourself by thinking about things that you want to improve in your life, to become a better version of yourself. I challenge you to sit down and visualize what that looks like. I challenge you to put it on a paper, pen and paper. It's so powerful when you put your thoughts down, journaling, and you reflect on it. I encourage you to share with others what your dreams are. What are things that you want to do in the future? You'll be surprised. People that you think that would not be supportive, they will support you. They probably don't even know this part of or this version of you exists. So I challenge you to share with me as well. Is this something that you've thought about? Is this something that you have thought about? Is there feelings tied to it? Is this something that you're willing to do for yourself? I encourage you to also sign up for my free 10-day do-it-yourself guide and to book a free discovery call with me. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.